Welcome back to the What the Food Weekly Updates, here to finally force feed you fascinating food facts and fiction for the foreseeable future, fuckers. I'm your host, Ethan Dutcher. It's May 11th, 2020. Today, one of the best restaurants in the world might not reopen, Afterlife imitates art, and it turns out third-party restaurant delivery apps are also robbery getaway drivers. So let's get digesting the news. Two British men hunker down in a pub amid a global pandemic while the whole thing blows over.
Go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
This is of course the premise of the Edgar Wright classic Shaun of the Dead, but it's also really happening. Two British men are living their dream by spending their lockdown in a London pub together. It's a little less zombies, but it's still good. Still good. We've got a roof, we've got a garden, we've got all this space. We're about as lucky as it gets, he says to Reuters, adding, "The best is the beer, having loads of different beers. Hanging out, playing chess, drinking beer all day. Basically doing the same thing everybody else is doing, but in a more acceptable setting. I say we reopen bars, and you can't leave till the stay-at-home order is lifted. We'll just live at the fucking bar, why not? What could go wrong?" No restaurant is safe from the impact of the coronavirus, not even the 3 Michelin star Titan 11 Madison Park in New York. The chef of EMP, Daniel Hum, said, "There's definitely a question mark over 11 Madison Park, if it will reopen." He tells Bloomberg's Pursuits during a phone interview on Monday, May 4th. "It'll take millions of dollars to reopen. You have to bring back staff. I work with fancy equipment in a big space. I want to continue to cook the most beautiful, precious ingredients in a creative way, but at the same time, it needs to make sense." That's essentially the reason why coronavirus has so effectively closed down so many restaurants, because starting up a restaurant from a dead stop is fucking expensive. Even closing for a couple days can be devastating, let alone a couple months. Don't worry though, this is actually a good news story. I'll pull the sneaky one on you. Daniel Hum is a chef from Sweden who moved to San Francisco after getting his first Michelin star. He soon after moved to New York, where he landed at 11 Madison Park and earned international recognition, including the #1 restaurant in the world's 50 best restaurant list 2017. Now, what does one of the best chefs in the world with access to a kitchen do in a time of crisis? He feeds people, goddammit! Daniel got $250,000 from American Express to produce food for those in need using leftover food from restaurants and other producers with the organization Rethink Food. Rethink Food is a fantastic organization on the front lines of battling commercial food waste. They currently only operate in the East Coast, but as any cook in the country can attest to, we desperately need a system like this everywhere. There's a link below if you feel like donating to the cause or finding out more about it. Hum says he will continue to use the restaurant to feed the homeless and the hungry along with the very fortunate. The infrastructure to end hunger needs to come out of the restaurants. Any way that EMP reopens, and it's like a blank canvas right now, we would need to redefine what luxury means. It will also be an opportunity to continue to feed people who don't have anything. I don't need to only feed the 1% anymore. I couldn't agree more. You need to ask yourself, what's more important, the food that you cook, or the people that you cook for? One thing is more evident than ever. The internet has changed the way the world works, especially in our post-pandemic, super convenient work-from-home society. The shift towards keeping people in their homes has made third-party delivery apps very popular. On the surface, delivery apps seem like a harmless no-brainer, giving restaurants the ability to deliver without having the hassle to employ drivers and buy vehicles. The complicated logistics and high price tag keep the majority of small restaurants from starting their own in-house delivery systems. But who could have guessed that large Silicon Valley apps could be fucking over small business owners? Crazy, right? Grubhub receipt sparks outrage as it reveals company took $666 cut from a pizza restaurant's $1,042 in total orders. Okay, here's a tip for you, Grubhub. If you're gonna be straight up evil, don't be so fucking obvious about it. Really? $666. What is this, high school? Get out of here. Now, the obvious solution would be for restaurants to stop using the service altogether, but the fact of the matter is that the market has shifted so heavily towards delivery that they don't have much of a choice. It really comes down to the customer wanting the service, says Jersey Mike's president Hoyt Jones. It's almost a necessity anymore in a restaurant business. You're going to have to adopt the service one way or another. Luckily, some cities have come with swift action against these apps. Now, New York City is taking a stand against one delivery giant, Grubhub. In June, the New York City Council's Small Business Committee spoke out against Grubhub's high commission fees. Third-party delivery apps tend to charge restaurants between 15 and 30% for their services, when profit margins for restaurants tend to hover at about 6%. Additional fees can hurt them. And, according to some restaurant owners, they are being charged for $9 for calls that don't even result in orders. That's fucked up. Other cities to put a rate ceiling on third-party apps are Seattle and San Francisco, continuing the Silicon Valley trend of covering their own asses while the rest of the world can go fuck themselves. Now, for an additional cost, you can have your Uber Eats driver punch the restaurant owner directly in the crotch. So, until states catch up on wrangling delivery apps and put caps on how much they can take from small businesses, I seriously suggest picking up your own food or going to restaurants that already deliver. This is a subject that really deserves a 30-minute deep dive from John Oliver, but if you want to know more, there is links below. Now, I hope you feel like you know a little bit more about our world of food. Make sure to subscribe for more food news updates, as well as full episodes coming this 4th of July. See you next time. God damn it!